Jen Donovan, hello.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. And people might know you a little bit better by whole body healing with Jen. You and I have been following each other for years. And we recently did an online summit together. We've done interviews together. But you shocked me. We were on the first day of Meatstock 2025, and I'm sitting there with what, 50, 60 people outside on the top of a mountain listening to like Dr. Barry talk and listening to Sean Baker. And all of a sudden, I see out of the corner of my eye Jen Donovan walk out onto the back patio, and I lost my mind. Like totally lost my mind. I just cut through the crowd and I embraced you and your husband. And it was just so good to have that connection online and then to have it next level, to have you in my arms, to hug you. So good to meet you.
It's so beautiful. It's like the light side of the internet, right? That you just like find your people all over the country, all over the world, and then when you meet in person, it's like you already feel like you're besties, you know? It's like you have this different kind of relationship. It's really special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved that your husband gave like an endless hug. Like he didn't like let go. And it was just like so refreshing because, a lot of times men are awkward and they'll do that like little pat thing, like, yeah. But he was just like committed to the hug. I loved it.
He is like notorious for his hugs. I swear. People will like greet him before me because they're so excited to get a hug from him because he's just like, yep, we're just all in it, all in it. Just like energies entwined. He's all about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to pull this up really quick because you are coming again to Meatstock 2026. So if people will go to this and they will scroll, they will see that Jen Donovan is right here next to Dante Ferragino, next to Dr. Kelly Ritter. How does it feel to be in a list like this?
It feels really validating, honestly. Like, I know I have a lot to offer, but there's also like so many brilliant people out there. Again, like we were just talking about earlier, the light side of the internet, right? That so many more people are able to have a voice and share their genius. And so, I mean, gosh, this lineup of people who are just incredible thinkers. I mean, look at some of these names. These are some really brilliant, thoughtful, innovative people. And I mean, I know I have some good stuff to offer, and it's just so validating to be included in a list like that.
Absolutely. And you've really gone through the trenches of, not only like finding answers and solutions for yourself, but now finding answers and solutions for your clients. I just want to tell you really quick, and you already know this, but I wanted to really explain to you the situation that I was in at Meatstock 2025. So I have, do these interviews all the time, connect with people. I've even done a workshop with 500 people on Zoom. No problem. But Meatstock 2024 was 30 to 40 people. Meatstock 2025 was 300 people plus in the same room. And what I did not anticipate was my central nervous system short circuiting. So we got to the end of the first day of Meatstock, and I was not okay. I walked up to you after the whole day, all the speakers, all the people, and I said, "I need to borrow your husband. I need a hug." And I started bawling. And of course, your husband was on it. He was just like, came in with the divine masculine and just like grounded me. And I was bawling, and you said, "What happened?" And I said, "Nothing. Nothing happened." And you were like, "Okay." Like you were just like ready. You were armed and ready to meet me where I was at. And you led me and like 24 other people in a trauma release exercise. So I would love for you to share real quick what you did um, after the people on the stage with Meatstock.
Yes, and I know I was feeling so protective of you. I was like, did someone say something mean to Emily? That was like my first instinct, right? But like then when you're like, no, nothing, I was like, ah, okay. We're just dealing with some good old nervous system dysregulation. I got this. So yeah, I thought it was perfect. I've been talking to people about leading them through. There's a bunch of people I was talking to that day who are like really interested in trying this modality that I use, and so it was like the perfect opportunity. And this is a modality that actually was a huge part of my own recovery from very serious illness because when we have a dysregulated nervous system, basically what's happening is that our body is sensing threat around us, whether it's objectively there or not, right? But our nervous system is perceiving threat, and it's threat that it's not sensing a resolution to. And so the difference of just nervous system activation to like nervous system dysregulation is that it just keeps building and building and building, and there's no release valve, right? There's no resolution. There's no ability to overcome that. There's no grounding. And so we basically need to find a way to let your nervous system know, hey, the threat is gone. And here's a door that we can open to basically like discharge all that energy that was like built up in the activation. And so we can do that completely somatically. Now, sometimes people do experience it talking, like if something had happened and you had like told me the story of what had happened and you were able to like cry through it and have kind of this cathartic release, like that can work too. But a lot of times, just like you in that situation, it's like, well, there's not like one thing that's actually wrong or one thing that happened. I'm just dysregulated, right? I'm just overwhelmed. It's this accumulation effect over time. And so we can just let that go through the body. We can use the nervous system's natural mechanisms to do that. And so we just do a few really simple movements just to kind of prep the body and activate some core muscles that are involved in the fight or flight response. And then we lie down in a position where your hip flexors and your psoas muscle is very relaxed. So it's kind of like a constructive rest, similar to a constructive rest position that you would do in yoga. And this just activates this tremor response. Those like all the fascia in your body. It usually starts in the hips and the abdomen and the thighs, but it goes all through the body. The fascia just starts trembling and vibrating. And it's not the same kind of vibrating you get from muscle fatigue. It's actually, they've done some studies on it, and it's coming from the brainstem. And so it's actually what they call a neurogenic tremor. And a lot of times people do experience this naturally, but they're afraid of it. They don't know what it is and they think something's malfunctioning, but it's actually your nervous system acting exactly how it should happen. And sometimes people, if they suppress it over and over and over again, they actually will start to develop a tremor or a tic, or a panic disorder, right? There's all these different neurological and psychiatric conditions that may be partially associated, at least, with habitually holding back on allowing that response to happen. And so this gives such a beautiful structure to feel safe, just like letting that go and having a whole different experience with your nervous system. Because afterwards, you actually feel a lot calmer. I mean, you share what your experience was. Was that how it was for you?
Yeah, and then I ran to you guys the next day, and I'm like, "You guys, like I had a miracle happen." And I know that it was because my channels were clear. Like that blockages were released. And I had a huge breakthrough. And then the rest of that, right after that, that afternoon, me and some of my friends got to go into the forest for 2 hours. And so it was just like this really amazing gift. And then we went back to one of my friends, his place, and grilled some fat steaks and got to meet some new people. We had this amazing conscious conversation that it was almost like we were in a different reality. Like it was just like we had tapped into like a different zone. And it was such a peace and a bliss for me. And then I went back to the speaker's cabin and had another amazing connection and a release. And I just know that doing that trauma release with you set me up for the whole miracle that that entire evening was. And then the next day, I think I like had the microphone and I was like running around like taking questions from the audience, and I was perfectly fine. And then I even spoke on stage the next day and it was completely fine. So yeah, it was transformational for me. And then of course, I've been practicing it at home. I love it.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. You know what's so interesting is the man who developed the trauma release exercise. He's a psychotherapist and a social worker and a massage therapist. His name's Dr. David BERCELI. He's a really remarkable man. If you ever get a chance to listen to him on podcasts, he's done a lot of interviews. And he started talking about when he first developed the TRE, it was at the same time that like polyvagal theory was coming out, and people were talking about like, oh, okay, there's kind of these zones that the nervous system can be in, right? Like rest and digest, fight or flight, and freeze. But what Dr. Vercelli started recognizing from people who had been doing TRE for some time, they'd been doing it maybe for months or years, and they started telling him these experiences they were having that didn't fit into those classic nervous system zones. And it's because they were more spiritual or conscious or mystical or like deeply connective experiences. And he started calling it going below the polyvagal curve, where it's like an even deeper level of regulation below what we'd usually think of as rest and digest. Rest and digest is lovely. It's just when you're kind of like hanging out, you're digesting your food good, you're relaxed, you're like, just chilling. But he recognized like people were getting so regulated doing these exercises regularly that they were going below the curve and having these experiences of like awe and hope and connection. And it's like it was exactly what you just described.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And I couldn't wait to get to you the next day. I actually, I think I kind of kidnapped you and I was like, sit down. Like, I have to tell you this. And I got your husband too. I'm like, this miracle happened. And it felt like a miracle. But what I think is that that is our baseline. That is what we are capable of, is having every day be in bliss, having every day be a miracle, supernatural. And I didn't realize that until I was able to release some of that trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, we have so much potential that so much of us are blocked from. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you are coming to Meatstock 2026, and what you want to tell us a little bit about the panel that you're going to be speaking on?
Yeah, I may be on a couple. I still have to confirm some things with Scott, but I know he for sure wants me on one that we're going to be talking a bit about histamine and mast cell activation syndrome. This is something that unfortunately the numbers have grown a lot over the last 5 years of people experiencing this spectrum of conditions. They're still not well understood by the medical field at all. They're still very mysterious. Um, and they get overlooked a lot because the symptoms can be pretty vague, actually. Like they're very debilitating, but they can be very vague and hard to pin down until you like connect the dots. And mast cell activation syndrome is what I was originally diagnosed with back in 2016 when my health was really at its rock bottom. And so I went on my whole journey figuring it out. And, I couldn't come back to the regular career I had before after that. And so that's kind of how whole body healing with Jen developed. I work with people with all sorts of different conditions, but I definitely primarily work with people with these conditions because I have that personal experience and I know what it's like. And I've dedicated a lot of time and energy to deep diving on these issues for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime I have talked to you or heard from you, you are just like a wealth of knowledge about this. And it comes from the trenches. It comes from not only your experience, but even I know your ethic that every new client that you have, you're gonna go figure it out. You're gonna go and absolutely get to the root, get to the bottom of this thing. And so that has just naturally informed you more. So you're just this walking encyclopedia. I love it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah. It's funny. Someone once asked me, like, I feel like the hard part of running your own business would be how do you distinguish between like what you like to do and what you do for work? And I was like, oh yeah, like that. It's a blessing and a curse, right? Because it's like I'll go on PubMed and read about like histamine disorders for fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's show people really quick your website, wholebodyhealingwithjen.com. And I'm gonna absolutely put all of these links in the show notes. But just let us know what you have here.
Okay, so actually if you go to the menu, the little hamburger on the side,
Yeah.
that gives a really good overview. So, um, the free things I have, if you scroll to the bottom of that,
Mm.
or
Okay.
maybe pull it up a little bit. Yeah.
There we go. It won't let me scroll. I wonder if I.
You put your
Oh,
cursor. Oh,
here.
there it is. There it
I
is.
see it. Sorry.
Oh, nope, not doing it.
Hmm.
Maybe if you embiggen.
Uh, wow. I'm so sorry.
No, no, that's okay. It might be a formatting thing that I need to work on, actually.
No problem. Just a second. Okay, so we got it pulled up. What the heck?
Is it at the bottom?
So here we have, you go to the hamburger menu and then you go to the very bottom and you click join Facebook group. So tell me about your Facebook group.
Yeah, so I just started this because I want everyone to have access to at least the basic tools. I relied on very free or low cost resources when I was first healing. And so I want to make sure everyone has access to this. And I just like to get to know my community better and have a positive space for community because so many of the mast cell Facebook groups out there, histamine Facebook groups out there are just so negative and fear mongering and all of that kind of stuff. So basically, you get access to my food list, to my meditation for grounding the nervous system, regulating the nervous system, and my histamine healing lifestyle audit. And that's things that you can do in terms of your mindset and what you're engaging with day to day, like how you're engaging with the world that are going to help regulate your nervous system a little bit more. And so you get access to those basic tools. So that's where I recommend that people start. I also have a three-part video series on here that you can watch. That's just on the main page of my website. But those are the best things just to get started with just kind of seeing my philosophy on what mast cell disorders are and how you recover from them.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up because I think with me, with multiple sclerosis and with bipolar disorder, I would go into these groups and it was like heightening my fear
Yes,
because I was hearing all of these war stories and all of this hopelessness. And so I love that you are offering a space that is offering hope and solutions instead of like trauma bonding,
yes.
over, hey, our lives are over, you know.
Yes, and in a lot of those groups, in fact, if you post a success story or an inspiration story or an option for alternative treatment, like you will literally get removed from the groups and your post will get deleted, which
I
is
have,
wild. It's so wild. Yeah,
yeah, I've definitely been removed from quite a few, saying that it's reckless for me to say
right,
that food has anything to do with mental illness or food has anything to do with autoimmune disease.
right,
Oh
which
my.
is just wild.
Uh,
Um, So yeah, and then if you're wanting to work with me directly, I have my immune resilience program, and that is my You can do it right now as a 3 month program or a 6 month program, but really I try to get people in for 6 months because that's really what it takes to like get over the first hurdles. In my experience, it really takes that first 6 months to start to see results. And so this is a hybrid one-on-one and group coaching program. I love that model because you still get the community aspects of being in a group, right? Like you're with people who are doing the same things as you. You've got that accountability, you've got that motivation, but you also get the one-on-one individualized care, which a lot of us are so complex that we really need that aspect too. So it's a really wonderful, like I said, hybrid model that allows me to give you individual practices, but also teach a lot of the basics. We have trauma release exercise groups in there. I have someone who does EFT tapping for emotional release support. We do a brain retraining group, and then we have classes on like nutrition and gut healing and detox and all of the things that you need to be aware of and implement to really get that whole body healing.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I wish, this is my vision. My vision is for us to get some sort of a foundation started so that we can have investors and have benefactors that recognize, hey, this person is fighting for their life. They can't afford the help that they need, and they just come in and just like an angel investor, and they just give the services to the people who need them.
So good. I love that.
It's my huge passion. I'm gonna do this.
Yes. Yes, that would be amazing.
And so anything else you want to talk about, any like upcoming events or anything else?
Yeah, I do have a free webinar coming up Friday, June or July 11th. Oh, well, this is actually, I'll mention that too. I do a monthly, actually, since we were talking about TRE, I totally forgot to mention this. I'm glad this popped up. I do a monthly donation-based trauma release exercise group, and I do it in person at a yoga studio in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is where I'm located. So if you're in that vicinity at all, you can come in person and do it, but I also have a virtual option for people who want to tune in from anywhere. So that's if you're just wanting to kind of like try this modality out and see what it's like. That's something that happens the first Saturday of every month. So July 5th will be the next one. And then I'll do it again in August. It repeats every month. But just this Friday, July 11th, yeah, this one, the sensitivity spectrum masterclass. I am doing this. This is really going to break down what's happening in your body and your nervous system when you are experiencing extreme sensitivities. This is like the client who comes to work with me, where it's like, I can't smell anything, I can't eat anything, I can't be exposed to anything, I'm constantly overwhelmed. People who identify as highly sensitive, and probably more so than even your standard, like highly sensitive person, but it's like every possible allergen in the world you are reactive to. So this is the class for you if you identify in that demographic because there are key things going on in the gut and the brain and the nervous system that we can address. So I'm going to explain the whys and then how to start building that resilience. I'm really into the concept of resilience. That's why my program is called Immune Resilience because I really think that we can um, not just recover, but actually become more resilient and more whole and more complete than maybe we were even before we got sick.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's one thing for people who are very, very sick to just survive, and they're just so grateful to survive. But whenever you start to see them thrive, it's just like like a whole new experience on life. Like they are just so grateful to be out of the pit of hell. And now they're just like, wait, but I get to enjoy life? Like this is so cool. All right, so anything else on here?
I think that's mostly it. I mean, I have my book on Amazon, and this is my just kind of comprehensive guide for healing the brain and nervous system holistically. So it's written for a more general audience, not just mast cell activation syndrome. And so it just has a lot of information about nutrition and detox and
Is it
Nervous
on
system.
Amazon?
It is, yeah, Rebuild Yourself.
There we go.
There it is.
Awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can definitely put that link in there too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was a feat. It's long. Just as a warning to people, it's like a 400-page tome, but I basically put in like everything I had learned about the brain and nervous system and how to heal it into this one book. So it's kind of like a reference book. Some people have it on their coffee table. It's like a coffee table book.
I love it. I love it. So that is incredible. And like I said, you're just a walking encyclopedia, but in the most like approachable way. You know what I mean? It's never
Totally.
intimidating. It's just like I'm so grateful that we just get it in this sweet little package of Jen. We get all of this information.
Uh,
And then recommended products.
Oh yeah, these are my affiliates. I have a supplement dispensary, so I have some protocols on there. I'm the kind of practitioner. I'm way more about nutrition and lifestyle than supplements. I think it's if you're not doing the nervous system regulation and you're not doing the diet, like that's where you need to work first. But I do find that sometimes people have stubborn nutrient deficiencies, that we're not able to address fully through diet. And then sometimes people do have chronic infections, like maybe they have a parasitic infection or they have SIBO or they have things that are really stubborn and the diet and lifestyle is just not quite enough to budge. And so I do use some therapeutic nutrients and herbs and things like that for clients sometimes. So I have all those protocols up on my supplement dispensary as well.
Awesome.
And then I have saunas. I love the Sensate device. I definitely promote those. They're the little device that like vibrates your breastbone. I really like it because it's a vagus nerve toning device that doesn't include direct stimulation of the vagus nerve. It's much, much more gentle. So for people who are more sensitive, it's a great option.
That's awesome. This is such a
All the
wealth
super
of
fun stuff
knowledge.
on here. Yeah.
I love it. All right. And so I would also, is there anything else on the website that I should highlight?
Um, oh, I do have my $17 mini course.
Where would I go
That's
for
in
that?
that's in the menu as well.
Oh, got it.
In self-paced courses on the top.
Oh, first thing.
Yeah, the first thing. I forgot about the first thing. These are
Mhm.
just like little $17 courses. So if you want a little, it's like a level up from the free Facebook group. Like it gives more information, like more in-depth info and a bunch of videos and things like that. But they're just $17. And so if you're wanting to dive a little deeper, then
Awesome.
bring
And
your
some
neck.
client reviews. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have a huge testimonial playlist on YouTube actually,
Oh, here,
and
let me click on that. Is it under
playlists.
playlists? Here we
Yeah, there's
go.
testimonials is the first one. And I mean, yeah, of course, it's good promotion when someone's like, "Hey, this worked for me." But more than that, honestly, um the reason I post them is more just for hope and inspiration. So I have a lot of clients that like they just listen to these interviews like over and over again, like on repeat because they're just trying to ingrain in their brain the idea that healing from debilitating complex chronic illness is possible, right? Because so much of the time, especially if you've gone a more conventional medical route, you're just told over and over again, like, there's no cure. You just have to accept it. You're going to be on medications the rest of your life. And, often even well meaning family and friends will reiterate that. Like, you just need to accept it. Like, just move on and accept it. And this playlist is just like a beautiful testament to, like, working with me or not, it's just like, yes, it is possible.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful, beautiful list of all these stories of hope.
Yes, and sometimes hope is the first dose of medicine that we get, you
It's
know?
the first most important dose of medicine, I would say, that is needed. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then mental health, interviews, special conditions, cooking tips, detoxification. Like what I love about you, Jen, and like I said, I've been following you for years, is that you over deliver and you give so much for free. And really that is like we said, when those people are so significantly ill, they have nothing left. So I can't thank you enough for meeting people where they're at.
Hmm.
And then we have your videos
Yep.
and some just amazing connections. Mary Reddick is one of my favorite interviews that you've done.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool to watch you just create more and more community.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keeps growing. I love it.
And then we have your Instagram. Again, dropping some nuggets of knowledge all over the place. Whole body healing with Jen.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say about this?
Gosh, I post all sorts of things. I've been posting a lot about like where to get bioavailable nutrients lately. So that's like that post right there on zinc, and I have one on selenium. So I've been just really helping people try to identify like what are the truly most nutrient dense foods because people get very confused about that. So I've been really trying to do a lot of that about nutrients and like how to develop a high nutrient diet. I also post a lot of like little food tips and examples of like foods that I eat. Um, and yeah, I mean the nervous system stuff I really have been trying to lean into um, mindset a lot more lately as well and how much that affects things. So it's all sorts of stuff on here, but I post almost every day. I usually try to take at least one day a week off just for my own mental health and nervous system. But yeah, I post almost every day, so there's always something new on here.
I love it. I love it. And for those of you that are not on Instagram, we also have Jen on. Oh, it popped off. Oh, there we are. We also have Jen on Facebook.
Yep.
Do you have some of the Instagram stuff populate here as well?
Yeah, yeah. All the stuff I post on Instagram also posts on Facebook, but then I also have the Facebook group on here.
I love it. I love it. That's incredible. And then we definitely are going to have you at Meatstock for 2026. But was that your first meetup, or have you been to other meetups? And what was that experience like for you?
I mean, I've been to a couple other events. Like I was at the Weston A. Price conference last year,
Oh,
but that was my first
wow.
Meatstock. Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a really different kind of event because at a lot of places like and I've been to like a lot of expos, like a lot of health and wellness expos and things like that, but it's such a different vibe than that. So if anyone's thinking like, "Oh yeah, I've been to an expo," like it's not like that. Like it really felt much more centered on community and connection, and people who are interested in something other than a quick fix. Like honestly, I've been to a lot of other events and this was the place where I probably had the most really quality conversations about deeper lifestyle changes with people as opposed to just like, "Oh, what supplement are you trying to sell me?" You know what I mean? Like it's just a really different energy and I appreciated that so much. It just draws a different kind of person, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to hop behind the booth for Pluck.
Mm.
James Berry, he has this spice that's basically like organs. And I got to talk to some of the guests, and it was like a whole nother world, the conversations that we had. And it got to the point where I was just like, you know, this is what things could be like, in our world to actually have all of these conscious conversations. And I think it's because everybody's walking around and they're not, inflamed on sugar and processed foods. I can't imagine that anybody would go to meat stock if they're, sitting there with a bag of Doritos. But it was just so cool to be able to recognize that this was throughout the whole, not only the speakers, but also the guests. There was a different level of just connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I cannot thank you enough for your time with me today. But what you are doing is so needed for humanity at this time. You help the people who are hopeless, and what you're doing is it's a divine calling, and I recognize the mantle that is on you, and I am going to be cheering you on until we are like in our hundreds, because I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Emily. The feeling is so mutual. I'm so glad we got to connect in person, and I'm so glad we're staying connected and doing things like this. Having these kind of conversations is so important.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll see you at Meatstock.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.